Hey guys, my name is Kelsey, and today I'm going to be telling you all of the tips that I think new photographers should know. So number one, we're just going to get this out of the way because it's what everyone tells you, and it's true, is you need to practice. You're not going to learn everything, and you're not going to become the best, amazing photographer that you should be by just looking at YouTube videos all the time. Yes, it will teach you a lot of things, but the best way to learn is through practice. The saying goes, practice makes perfect, and it really does. The more you practice, the more better you get. No, the better you will get. I personally have kind of a rule or something. I'll set a goal of like 50 photo shoots or something along those lines. You don't have to quite have 50 photo shoots, but like for 2017 my goal was 100 photo shoots. At this point it's September. I think I have about 86, 87. So I already have the 100 booked plus some, so I'll definitely make my goal. But it's always nice to have a goal and to have something to work towards. And I just started doing it the whole, I need this many this month, this many that month, just to be practiced more, to get your name out is always a good thing, and it's really just helpful to do. You get better and better. I'll show pictures up here of like what it was just in January and then how it is now. Two, this is this is really gonna make me sound like dumb, but it's okay. When I first bought like my very first camera, or I got my very first camera, I did not even know that you could take the lens off and switch it to get another lens. I didn't know that. I used the kit lens, I think it's like the 18 to 35 for so long. I did not even know you could take off the lens. I didn't know that button like on the side. I didn't know what it was. I didn't touch it. It was so bad. It was so bad. But of course I learned, and the point of that story was to research lenses. Look at your favorite photographers. What I've learned to do is look at behind the scenes photos, because they're not always going to tell you I use this lens, I use this setting, that kind of stuff. I usually look at behind the scenes photos. On Instagram you can kind of touch the middle and then zoom in and you can really see close up. Sometimes you really gotta squint to read what kind of lens it is. And if the photographer themselves don't have behind the scenes photos, look at the stylist, the hair and makeup artist, sometimes even the models. They'll have behind the scenes pictures that you can kind of look through. Make a folder. You can, not only for the lenses or the camera body, but lighting setups. You can learn a lot from behind the scenes photos. When it comes to tutorials, personally the way I learned Photoshop and the way I learned Lightroom was I put the tutorial on mute and I went through with them. So I'm not even gonna lie, there was a lot of times I had to keep backing up the video because they'd go too fast and I'd miss something. But it really gets you to learn. With it on mute, you're learning it visually, which is the best way of learning. With you doing it with them, you're getting the practice in, and it really helps kind of cement it in your brain of how to do it. A lot of the times I'll do a tutorial, go through it, and then I'll try and do it by myself. A lot of the times, I'm not even gonna lie, I have to rewatch the video because I'll forget a part or forget something and I'll have to go back and look. This is for my outside shooters. A lot of first photographers are mainly outdoor photographers. They don't really do a lot of indoor shoots. The biggest tip I have is to watch the lighting and watch your leading lines. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. If I can, I'll put it up there. But there's a lot of times in a lot of pictures, there's like a bar going through my model's head, or it's just like a random post right here in the frame. It's just very awkward. And just paying attention to that during the shoot is really important. Lighting, where the sun is at, is really important. Remembering, if you are on manual, remembering to change your settings. If you go from a shaded area to a bright area, you don't want to ruin or miss out on a whole bunch of pictures because they're way overexposed or they're way underexposed, and you can't use those even in RAW. There's only so much RAW can do. Biggest tip, and I still struggle with this today, and I'm getting better at it. I say that, I could be lying, but is not comparing yourself to others. It's really hard not to look at local photographers or even just photographers that you admire and look and see all the amazing things they're doing, and you're just kind of like, I'm still here, I'm not doing anything, I have no shoots planned, I'm not getting paid, I'm really living that like starving artist life. And it's really hard not to do it, I get that, but try your best not to. At one point I had to just get off of all social media and just stop paying attention to what they were doing. Like it wasn't healthy, and it wasn't good for me to keep seeing all of it. It's very hard not to look and be like, oh, why is my stuff not like this? Oh, why am I not getting published in a magazine? Oh, I'm not going to Milan. I'm not going to Thailand. Like, it's really hard not to point out and see the differences, but you just need to realize the only person you're in competition with is yourself. And that's really all that matters. Everyone succeeds at different points. Some people, their peak is 19. Some people, their peak is 90. It really just depends on you and who you are and when is your time to get as amazing as you will be. The next one is, I'm not even going to try a number. I almost said like number 5. I don't know what number we're on. The next one is don't listen and don't listen, but don't take everything to heart. There are going to be tons of people that say, you should do this, oh, your blacks are too black, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you're too bright, it's too contrast, whatever. There's going to be people that just don't like your style of photography. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. Art is very subjective, and constructive criticism is really good, but there's some people who, they're just being turds, basically. They want to have an opinion. It doesn't mean that their opinion is right. Take it if you agree with it or you think, yeah, I'll think about it. Don't take everything to heart. I've met a few photographers that they take everything to heart. If the model decides to work with another photographer, they're constantly emailing or messaging that model of, oh, what was wrong? Do you want me to do it again? Do you want to, like, don't take everything personally. Be proud of your work and don't worry about what other people think or say. Just do you, and if you're proud of it, that's all that really matters. And people will like it. It just may not be the people you're around at that moment, and that's okay. The biggest tip I have, and something I really like doing, is looking at different photographers. A lot of my job is fashion and portrait. Some seniors, I do a lot of stuff with companies. But I also have like a whole slew of people I follow that are travel photographers or videographers. They do mainly landscapes and buildings and architecture and stuff like that. And I love it because it shows me, it's like refreshing. It kind of gets old scrolling through Instagram and all you see is beauty and fashion and all this kind of stuff. It's nice to have the landscapes every now and then with the videography, and it's nice to have a difference. It keeps you inspired, it keeps you motivated for stuff. Another thing, which I know every new photographer does, I did it, was just going on Amazon, looking at all of this like studio lighting and all of this new gear, and you see your favorite photographer has that 24-70 1.4 and it's so bad. And they have like a 1DX. They have two 1DXs. They vlog with one and they take pictures with another one. It's insane. You want it, and you see all the limitations that your camera has. But honestly, you do not need the most expensive gear. You don't need the newest gear. The very first camera I had was my mom's Rebel T3i, and I got paid gigs off of that camera. You don't need the biggest, most expensive camera. You don't need a gimbal. You don't need all this extra stuff. You need you and your creative eye. I think it's a Digital Rev series. They'll have professional photographers with these like toy cameras, and the pictures will end up really good. And that really proves and shows you don't need like the latest, greatest 1DX or Canon 5D Mark IV. You don't need any of that. If you are truly talented, like I know you are, you will, the pictures will always come out good. It's about framing, it's about the subject, it's about what you're trying to show and tell. Another thing that I learned, which a lot of photographers, especially new ones, are not very good at, is learning to just slow down during the shoot and take time to frame your subject. A lot of people you work with are not going to know how to pose, and it's really good to just have, like, I have a personal folder in my phone that I look through and I'm like, oh, how about we do this? And I'll work with off of that and do different poses, because I'll be honest, a lot of the time I'll do a pose, I'm like, okay, copy me. Like, do this, now copy me. Now do this, now copy me. Now do this, copy me. Like, you just, it's part of it. You just have to be really good at it. I've had more compliments on the fact that I've taken my time and I've helped them and I've made them feel comfortable during the shoot than, okay, yep, and just hoping that one of the thousands of images you just took looks different than them just doing. Like, that's just, no. I'd rather take the time and say, okay, pose like this, play with your hair, move around. Like, literally the first time I meet the model, I already know, or the client, I already know that first shoot, I'm not really going to get any good pictures out of it. It's already there, I already know. Sometimes I'll get like one or two, but overall, don't get your favorite location as your very first location. But yes, that is all. I know I said a lot of them. I'm sorry if I talked really fast. I hope this helps any new photographers. I know watching these kind of videos when I first started really helped me out. And just keep shooting, and I can't wait to see all of them. Bye.